Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hey friend, what's going on? So glad to have you with us on New Life Live. Brian Perez at your service, along with clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard and licensed marriage and family therapist J.J. West. If you want to talk about persevering through adversity or one of the issues that we discuss regularly in our intensives like marriage, betrayal, or sex addiction, give us a call for the next 2 hours. We're ready to help many of you today. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. Jill and JJ, great to see you.
Yeah, great to be here, Brian.
See you.
Yeah.
Yay, JJ, and you're feeling better. Yay.
Oh, goodness.
Last week we missed you.
I feel worlds better. Yes,
Good.
Last week you would not have wanted me on the radio or anywhere near anyone. For
That bad, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was bad. Yeah.
Well, glad to have you back, sir. What's on your mind to get us started?
Well, I've been thinking about there's a saying that you hear pretty often. You guys are probably pretty familiar with it. It says, we are human beings, we're not human doings.
Yes.
And I wanted to reflect on that for a little bit. And specifically, there's a book by Larry Crabb called Connecting, where he expounds on this idea of us being and the idea of belonging, and how when we talk about belonging, inherent in the word is a longing to be, a longing to be human, to be present, to be connected, to be a part of something larger than ourselves. And there's a quote from the book that I love. He says, people experience the life-changing force of healing relationships when something powerful comes out of one and touches something good in another. When something powerful comes out of one and touches something good in another. And I wanted to give us 3 ideas for how that happens. What are some key ingredients, if you will, for being a part of a healing community? Number 1 is learning to delight in others, to delight in who they are and what they bring to the table in the same way that God delights in us. Number 2 is to actively seek what's good in the heart of the other. Recognize their strengths, their passions, their purposes, what God's called them to. See the good in them. And then finally, engage in their pain. Engage with their pain. Recognize that some of their pain is the result of other people's sin toward them, and some of their pain is the result of their own sinful choices. And so engaging with their pain is having compassion and empathy, but also calling them to something more beautiful, something that God has called them to. And so if we can do that, if we can delight in others, if we can actively seek what's good in them, and then if we can engage with their pain, whether it's pain that's caused by others or their own sinful choices, we can be a healing community that helps others fulfill that longing to be.
I love that, JJ. And, so often we're so self-focused, right? We're just looking inward at our own stuff. And we really need to be other-focused as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhat easier to engage with someone when something has been inflicted upon them by somebody else, but when it's of their own doing, we might get a little judgy, so to speak.
Oh,
so
yeah.
how do we get away from that?
We want to pull away.
Yeah.
Like, you get yourself fixed, and then I'll re-engage.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
not
We
what
become
that's
high
not
and
what a
mighty
loving
all of a
healing
sudden.
community looks like.
You got yourself in this mess. Nothing I can do about it. But you know what?
Right.
We can do a lot about it here at New Life Live. So no matter who caused your current pain, whatever situation you're in right now, give us a call. We're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. We would love to try to help you to get to your next journey in life here. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. And if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, call in. The number's right there on your screen.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, September 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Did you notice a slight change to your phone or tablet recently? If you've got the New Life app installed on your device, you may have seen our new icon. Now, unlike other companies that have recently changed their logo, ours didn't cause controversy because people like it. And if you don't have the app, download it today to access New Life resources and support anytime, anywhere. Let's go to the phones now. 1-800-229-3000. We're going to begin with Renee, who is a Club New Life member in Sacramento, California, listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Hi, Renee. Welcome to New Life Live. First of all, thank you for being a Club New Life member. How can we help you today?
So my question is, how can you help me to deal with an adult, angry, narcissistic child?
Okay. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
Like how old and formally diagnosed, or is that your diagnosis?
Well, that's my diagnosis.
Okay.
That is 34.
Okay.
And behavioral. I've done a whole lot of studying, training, teaching with New Life at that. I was sharing earlier, I probably have every book and I read them and read them and read them and recommend them. So I'm going by my self-diagnosis of behaviors. And she is unfortunately began to fall off. And in the process of falling off, she also had a child. And as the falling off continued, it became where I had to make a decision for the safety and the sake of the child. So I took him in. CPS was involved. And so now everything is my fault. Every aspect of life for her is my fault. Every aspect you can think of, there is no good. There is just bad, and it's all my fault.
Any siblings?
Yes, there are siblings.
Okay.
There are siblings. However, not siblings with me.
Okay.
Parents, yeah. So she's my youngest, but other siblings, and their response is let her go. Kind of difficult to do. So I'm just kind of at that place. When I saw this, I was like, I got to call the boys and girls and talk to them because I need some more insight to this. I know how to pray. I know how to trust. I know I have boundaries, changes that heal, save people. I have everything in between. I do. I have almost every book of Stephen Audubon. I have everything, but for whatever reason, there's a block going on, and so I thought maybe to hear something right now might be a little more helpful for me.
For sure. Jill, what would you say?
Well, Renee, I'm so sorry. This is so difficult to deal with. You know, as mothers, we pour everything into our kids, and then when they turn on us and, you know, blame us, which moms, we're the great containers of blame, right? We're the safest people and also the ones they have their dependency need conflicts with. So we get hammered. So it's important. I mean, you've done enough of your own research and work to know that this is part of what's going on in her, and the blaming is a splitting off, right? So then she doesn't have to be responsible. And so that's where it is important to have the boundaries, loving but firm, and as much as possible you remove yourself from being the target of the anger, but that's not always possible. And like you said, you had to protect this child, and when there's little ones involved who can't advocate for themselves, yes, you have to step in. And so your daughter is having to hit up against her own, consequences. And so I think instead of trying to help them out of it or come up with solutions, and I don't know that you're doing this, it's giving it back to them. Well, what are you going to do about that? What do you think you should do? And almost be boring in your responses to them on the one hand. On the other hand, and I'm wondering if she has more of kind of a borderline narcissistic flavor to her, because sometimes there's a continuum where those overlap.
Right.
And so the borderline part definitely needs boundaries. The narcissistic part does need some affirmation, some recognition of good. And so wherever you can do that, recognizing the good, giving them, some of that, because they're hypersensitive to criticism.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if that is helpful for you, but it's a long journey.
Yes.
Right? It's a day by day, right?
It is. It is. And I want to tell you one of the things that have helped me in the beginning of this particular journey with her is your book, Secrets Women Keep.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. Great. Thank you for that, Renee.
Yeah, no, really. So I'm literally at that place where this is a confirmation of what I actually was thinking I needed to do, what I've been told I should do. But I know that we don't know each other personally, but I almost grew up with you guys in these 33 years, and I literally feel like, you guys have helped me in places you would never begin to imagine. So this is helpful for me to implement and re-implement as well.
Good.
So I appreciate, Jill, what you're saying, and continuing to kind of walk through this thing and whatever the outcome may be. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and you can't control the outcome, right? The outcome is in God's hands, right?
Right.
You just have to handle each day, each situation.
Exactly.
Since you've been a long-time listener, you've probably heard us talk a lot about the book Walking on Eggshells. And we don't have it here, but do you have that one? Or Stop Walking on Eggshells?
I know, exactly, but I'm laughing only because somebody just told me that. Oh, my God, this new book that I came across, and when they said that, I said, I know, that they came across.
Yeah.
Yes.
New to them. And I just had to laugh, and I'm like, you know what? I just need to go look at my bookshelf, because I'm not kidding.
I'm sure you have a lot.
I know. You guys have been my life savers, and this is a new arena for me.
Yes.
But I'm going to be pulling on, listening to, reigniting myself into new life, because I don't know if I could have made it through some of the things that I have without you guys. And I'm not saying that.
So, Renee, stop. Sorry, JJ. Stop Walking on Eggshells. There's also a version, Stop Walking on Eggshells, for parents. And then I don't know if you have our book, How We Love Our Kids.
How We Love Our Kids.
Because you've got a little child now you're raising.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to
anyway,
start.
JJ, go.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on what you offered, Jill, because it's so important. And so I would say, Renee, first and foremost, I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad probably you wrote everything down that Jill said. I want you to rehearse that. I want you to commit to it, because it really does tie back to some of the things that we talked about in the open today. I have to continue to pursue relationship where it's obviously in the places where it's safe for me to do that, right? Where, if the other person is behaving in ways that are abusive, if the other person is behaving in ways that violate those boundaries that you set, obviously that's a different story. But at the same time, when someone, even if the pain that they're experiencing, in this case with your child, She's experiencing pain because of choices that she's made, right? Sinful choices that she's made. How do I still choose to delight in her in the ways that God delights in her, in the ways that God delights in me when I make sinful choices and have to deal with the consequences? How do I continue to delight in her? Can I look for the good? Can I look for the things that she does well? Can I look for the things that point to her strengths? Can I do that while at the same time, just like Jill was saying, I don't shrink back from, I don't mitigate or lessen the boundaries and the expectations, but I couch it or I communicate it through the lens of, here's what I see in you that is good and godly and moves you toward what God has for you. Even if she doesn't claim to know the God that we know, right? I can still say that I see good in you. So anyway, just to jump on Jill's shoulders there and reiterate what she was saying.
All right, Renee, thank you for calling us from Sacramento. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love Our Kids from the newlife.com store. 1-800-229-3000 is our number, and now we're going to talk to Carla, who's calling in from Kentucky, listening on Pure Radio. Hello, Carla. Thank you for calling in.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thanks. How can we help you today?
Well, guys, I just want to start off by saying that I really love your ministry. I've been listening to you guys for over 25 years, and everybody on the panel is just wonderful. But my concern is I lost my son 9 months ago, Sunday, and I just don't feel like that I'm getting ahead. I mean, like even talking to you now, I feel like I just got the news yesterday, and I just want to go further and say that I've had one-on-one counseling. I've had the EMDR. I do group counseling at my church, and I've also taken classes to help facilitate a group that we just newly started in June. I'm shadowing somebody right now just to, learn more and get more educated on it. But I just feel like I'm not in touch with reality. I mean, is that normal? I don't know what to do.
How old is your son, Carla?
He was 47. He died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me start off by saying, one, I'm just so heartbroken for you, Carla. And we all are. And is it normal? Yes, it's so normal. Because your world got turned upside down 9 months ago.
Yeah.
It's not like you got a little bit of bad news. Your world got turned upside down so suddenly, out of the blue. You weren't expecting this. And it does take a long time for things to begin to settle out. And this is still very, very fresh.
Yes.
I'm glad that you're doing the work. I'm glad you're doing individual counseling, group counseling. I don't know if was the group counseling grief share or some sort of grief recovery group, or was it something else?
It is group on, it's group, and then we also do grief support.
Grief support.
So it's
okay, but
both. I do one class,
Good. That's so important, Carla, for you to be around other people who have experienced grief as well, who are experiencing grief as well.
Well, and who don't,
remember,
sorry, JJ, and who don't tire of hearing about it.
Who don't tire of hearing about it, correct. Yeah.
I'm
Carla, I want
out.
I want you to understand that the grief process, when we go back and back in Psychology 101, we learned the Kubler-Ross stages of grief, right? The 5 stages of grief. And it's always presented in a very linear fashion. Like we start in denial, then we go to bargaining, then anger, then hopelessness, then resolution. And we would just kind of go boop, 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 all the way through grief. Grief is never linear. It is chaotic. It's like the wildest roller coaster ride you've ever been on. And the stages is even the wrong term, because it's like interlocking or intermingling phases of grief. And so one moment you can be angry, and the next moment you can be bargaining, and the next moment you can be hopeless, and then denial, and then you experience some resolution, but then you're right back to another stage. So what you're experiencing is quite normal, and don't feel like you've got to be in some place, some magical place where I'm over the loss of my child.
Jill, any thoughts for a few seconds before we go to break and come back to Carla?
Well, yes, I have more to say when we come back. But Carla, 9 months, and you're already being active, which is wonderful, but it is really fresh. And this is your child, right? Children aren't supposed to die before their parents. And so it is shocking to one system, right? And so more to say about that.
Carla, we'll come back to you in a moment here on New Life Live. And everyone else, we'd love to hear from you as well. We're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. We can't wait to hear from you at 1-800-229-3000. Grab an open line while there's still time.
Here at New Life, we want you to have transformation. And so we have created the New Life courses, and you meet weekly on Zoom with a coach or counselor. You're going to have teaching as well as that group connection, because we know how powerful that is. We hear that all the time about our intensives, that they love the information, but the group process is so powerful. And many of you have been hesitant to participate because you're not sure, the timing, the price. The New Life courses are going to meet you right at that area of need. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful, and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us.
Embark on your journey of personal growth and self-discovery in September with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do, because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Carla in Kentucky. You still with us, Carla?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, thanks for holding through the break. Dr. Jill, what did you want to share with
So
Carla?
I just wanted to share something, Carla, with you about, being a mother and having our children. God's design for us to bond is that we have this maternal preoccupation. But we're even connected to them. Not only do we carry them, but biologically. And that there have been studies that show that through the placenta in utero and through the DNA, that cells pass between the mother and the baby, and that we actually carry cells from our child's DNA with us as early as 6 days from conception and can be lifelong. And so when, so to lose a child, there's a part of you that is, died with that child in a sense. And so the grieving is very, very deep, and it does take time. And you will never not miss your child. I mean, you will learn over time how to live without him. But I think it's just, we're so intertwined with our children.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you are right where you need to be. And the grief, again, over time will lessen, but you can go back into it. right? And so, JJ, I always love what you say about grief, how grief is like a visitor stopping by.
That's right.
Right? And
That's
so
right.
you invite grief in, you invite it in for tea, you sit with it for a little bit, and then you send it on its way. And I just love that picture. And
Because
that's
if we don't invite grief in, if we don't let grief come in when he comes and knocks on the door,
Yeah.
we leave him standing at the door and we duck behind the couch, he stands there knocking. And so that's why it's so important, Carla, for you to let yourself feel what you feel. Let yourself feel the sadness. Let yourself feel the loss. Let yourself feel the anger. Let yourself feel the what ifs. All of that is part of the healing process. So that when grief comes in and you interact with grief, then there's a point where grief gets up and leaves and says, "This was lovely. Thank you so much. I'll be back some other time." Right? And that's what what I've experienced. My father died 24 years ago. My mother died almost 3 years ago. I'm still very much grieving. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm grieving in the same way today that I was in year one, but there's still grieving that happens. And we never finish grieving this side of glory.
Okay.
What do you think of what you've heard, Carla?
Excuse me?
What do you-
I think it's all true. Yes,
Yeah.
it's all so true. But the interesting thing was what she just said about the DNA. That I'm gonna research that more. Seems like I read something about that.
yeah,
And,
it's called microchimerism.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to research that and explore it a little bit because it does. It feels like, when people ask how I'm doing, the only thing that I can come back with is, I don't really know, but if I could cut open my chest and take out my heart, you would see.
Yeah.
You would see what it's doing. And you just can't, that's the only way I can say it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know,
Carla, can I ask one more question?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting a sense or even maybe direct messages from others that you're supposed to be further along than you are, that you're supposed to be done grieving now?
I am, and that's kind of compounding my grief. Not that it's real bad, but, people will, text me or they'll, in conversation, say, well, how are things going? Like real joyful and, what do you mean, how are things going?
Right.
It was just 9 months ago. I keep wanting to say, that's my son. Things are going.
Right. So things are going day by day, moment by moment, is sometimes the response, right? I have good moments and bad moments.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Right?
It's just
So,
hard.
and here's
it's just hard to keep it.
And here's the thing too, Carla. It's like this is a pain that can feel so unbearable that you want out of it, and everyone else has a hard time bearing that pain as well. And so they want you out of it. So it's everybody's anxiety around death and pain and long suffering. And that's why it's good that you're in these groups with other people going through grief, because they'll have more tolerance for the long suffering.
And if I could speak to Carla's friends,
Yeah.
right? If they were listening,
Job's friends.
right now, right? But if I could speak to Carla's friends, and I can speak to the whole audience to say that if the scriptures tell us to grieve with those who grieve and mourn with those who mourn, not to push them past where they're at right now. And so grieve with those who are grieving. Weep with those who weep, mourn with those who mourn.
Yes, definitely.
I think we all need to learn how to be better listeners, better communicators, not to say the wrong thing. Sometimes we say things because we think it's helping, but it may not be helping.
Or because we don't know what to say, so we say something dumb.
Yes, and then we stick our foot in our mouth, and it's just it just gets worse. So be careful what you say to people who are in the grieving process. And Carla, just for calling in today, we're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief. It's available for purchase in the newlife.com store as well. Thank you so much for your phone call. We will get to more of you in just a moment. Got to take a quick break. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today, and we'll talk to you in a bit.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our life. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
JJ West is on with Dr. Jill Hubbard and me today. Call us at 1-800-229-3000. JJ is one of the presenters at our Every Man's Battle Intensive, and he just got back from one in Cincinnati this past weekend. How'd it go, JJ?
I sure did. Yeah, it was, it was interesting. One, it went great. The guys showed up ready to work, excited, challenged, scared, all of the things that everybody feels coming into an Every Man's Battle Intensive. It was challenging because, as you guys know, I was really sick last week. And so I was on some pretty heavy drugs to get well enough to travel by Thursday to get to Cincinnati. And I did have to hack and cough my way through the workshop. So I feel kind of bad for the guys having to deal with that. But we didn't let it detract from what God was doing. Mm-hmm. And what God does every Man's Battle Intensive, which is that we go behind enemy lines and we get to take captives and set them free. That's what we see month after month at the intensive. Yeah. And that's what we saw this past weekend in Cincinnati, was we saw guys who were completely bound up in their addiction, but even more so, completely bound up in their shame, bound up in their belief that there's something about them that makes them worthless and unlovable and unforgivable, and seeing God change that narrative into them being sons of the King, of the God Most High. It's a powerful weekend.
Yeah. I remember years ago, actually it was decades ago, so now I'm dating myself. I was leading a church youth group, and we brought up, having the talks with teenagers. We brought up drug addiction, alcohol addiction, even being addicted to sex and porno mags and movies and multiple partners. And this one teen in the group, he couldn't understand how that was a bad thing. Like, he could see how drugs and alcohol might lead to problems, but sex? I mean, that's a good thing. I'm sure he even said, well, God created sex. How could something that God created be bad? So how would you answer that question, JJ?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's an honest question. It's a couple of things I would say. Number one, God created the grapes from which wine is made, which people use to further their alcoholism. God created all of the plants that many people use to further their drug addiction, right? God did make sex. He designed it. It was his idea, and it's good. Because the issue that we're facing, it's not really so much about sex as it is about sin. And that's a really churchy word, right? But when we break it down, sin always offers me the opportunity to meet a legitimate need in an illegitimate way outside of God's design. And so when we use our sexuality sinfully, we are using it outside of God's design to meet legitimate needs in illegitimate ways. So I'm using sex to meet my need for intimacy. I'm using sex to meet my need for affirmation. I'm using sex to meet my need for comfort and belonging and all of the things that are their legitimate needs. But I don't have a framework for having those legitimate needs met outside of sex, porn, masturbation, whatever. And so it's learning how to allow God to meet my legitimate needs in legitimate ways so that I have a healthy relationship with sex, which again is good. It was God's design. It's supposed to be this beautiful thing that brings two people together. But instead, what I've done is I've twisted it into something that isn't beautiful, but something ugly because I'm using it for a selfish purpose, not to connect with another, but to help me escape or help me to feel better about myself or whatever, not what God designed it for.
So if you're a guy, single or married, there's a path to freedom from this addiction. You can live the rest of your life strong and finish well by enrolling in the next Every Man's Battle weekend workshop. It starts 1 month from today in beautiful, if I say so myself, Orange County, California. You can get all the details by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or at newlife.com. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today in the studio. And I see we've got Sylvia in Littleton, Colorado, listening or watching, I should say, on NRB TV. That is DirecTV channel 378. Welcome, Sylvia, to New Life Live.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a question, and there's several things going on. This is a marriage of 37 years, and my husband and I, there is not intimacy in this marriage. In the very, very beginning there was, but there isn't and hasn't been for probably 15 years. He's not interested, and then also he is involved in sitting in front of the computer watching shows on cars and music and this, but I don't think that it's pornography. The door is always left open. I have gone to counseling on some of these issues, and I guess my question is, do I just continue in this situation? I've confronted him, and it's a difficult thing because it's not something that can be discussed very well. He gets defensive, and so it's like, is Jesus just enough on my part?
Jill, how do you answer that question?
Oh, Sylvia, I'm so sorry. So your husband pretty much, you said 15 years ago, just really started to detach. It sounds like more and more.
From the very beginning,
okay,
it was up and down. He would push me away. I mean, it was like the dance of intimacy. I mean, from the very beginning, it was like that. But then it's nothing now. Mm-hmm. Hasn't been for 15 years.
So over the years, it just got less and less. But he's always, you're saying, had more of an avoidant attachment style.
Right.
Which is very lonely. And often people don't find that out because in the beginning, when you're courting, you've got all the extra hormones there and it's exciting. And then you find out that his need for closeness is much, much less than yours. And then you throw in the computer and it used to be we would all sit around and hopefully some people still do and watch TV together. And so then you could comment on, what's happening. And so there was some connection there. But when people go to their own devices, it's very isolating in the family. And so you said he's very sensitive about it. And you're saying you're 100% sure there's no pornography or things like that he's looking at, that it's more just guy shows.
There could have been in the beginning, but I don't think there is now. He did become a Christian before I married him. However, his lifestyle before that was not good, and I wasn't going to continue the relationship, and then he did become a Christian. In word and goes to church and that type of thing. But he's got issues for sure, and then he doesn't always get the full extent of what did go on. Like, I don't know whether he could have the ADHD or attention deficit stuff, because if he will get half of a conversation, or if I try to talk about something that's occurred, sometimes he doesn't even remember that. And so to confront that a little bit, he gets very defensive too. So it's a real tough situation.
So he's easily wounded? Is that what you're saying by things that you say?
Oh, yeah. I try to be very careful. I have gone to some pretty intensive counseling myself in reference to the marriage, and how do I deal with this, or just don't deal with it.
JJ, what do you say?
Yeah, so it's a really tough place to be, and Sylvia, I applaud you for the work that you're doing. I think that I want you to hear that, and I want you to continue to do your own work, because you can't fix, change, or control others. You can't make your husband do what you want him to do. But it's also important, anytime we're interacting with another person who seems stuck, who doesn't seem to be responsive, which is what's happening with your husband, what I want you to try to do when you're interacting with him is be curious. Rather than coming in with, why can't you do this, or why don't you do that? Instead, change it to, can you tell me what it feels like for you when I ask you to pursue me, or be more intimate with me, or turn away from your shows to talk to me, or whatever? Can you tell me what it is that you experience inside? Not from judgment, not waiting to pounce like, aha, there's the problem, we got to fix that in you. But just to understand him more. And then on the other side of the break, I want to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
we'll be back.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Sylvia in Colorado. I think, Dr. Jill, you had mentioned something before. No, it was JJ.
No, it was JJ.
Yes,
it was on a roll.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I was just saying that it's important to recognize that so often, especially if, in fact, what Jill was saying earlier, that he could be an avoidant personality or at least an avoidant attachment style. And if that's the case, oftentimes we interpret their behavior as resistant. Oh, you're not wanting to do the thing that I'm asking you to do in terms of connection, in terms of intimacy. It could be that he's terrified, that he doesn't have a clue how to do real intimacy because he never learned how to do it growing up. And so when you come to him with requests for intimacy, not intimacy as in let's go have sex in the bedroom, but intimacy in terms of heart-to-heart connection, that may be really scary for him because he doesn't know how to do it. And so operate with grace. And I would really encourage, if it's at all possible, ask him if he would join you. We're doing a 90-minute webinar in September on marriage and intimacy and some of the broken patterns that persist in marriages that keep us from experiencing that kind of intimacy. It's a real low-key commitment. He doesn't have to travel anywhere. It's a webinar, but it might be something where he could hear his condition validated and then an opportunity to invite him to that next step of growth and healing, because his heart really does long for connection. And that's kind of what he's looking for electronically with all of the social media and the shows. Is he's either trying to numb that longing or he's trying to fill it with something that's less intimidating, that has less risk.
For sure. Sylvia, that webinar is coming up in September. It's called Renewing Love. You can find out all about it at newlife.com. And just for calling in today, I think we'll send you a copy of How We Love from the newlife.com store. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today. Ralph and Kay will talk to you after we get to Amy, who is in Los Angeles listening on KKLA. Welcome, Amy, to New Life Live.
Hello, wonderful people of God. How are you all doing this morning?
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Doing great.
Well, are y'all doing good or what?
Yeah,
yes,
we're wonderful.
Fantastic.
How are you? Well, we already know how you're doing. You sound great. But what is your question for us today?
Yes, I was just this is a super general question, but still pertinent to, how you say that?
Pertinent?
Yes, this word. How do you say it? Pertinent?
Pertinent.
Yeah.
Pertinent, yes.
Yeah, to the population of believers today. I'm wondering what you guys feel about me. I'm 35 years old and I'm married with my husband Steven, and he said that he can't afford to, well, not afford, but of course he can afford everything because we have God and Jesus is our provider. But he said, do not sign up for life insurance right now. And you think he's trying to protect me because what he wants me to do as my beneficiary, I put him as my beneficiary in the past. But I was thinking to put the church as my beneficiary because he told me that if I put the church as my beneficiary, then they will receive all the money for the church and to take care of the people of the church and God's people. And my family, we don't have children yet, but I want to have kids with him, will be taken care of. He will be taken care of. That's if I die before him. But this is like a real question that people are on the hearts and minds of believers.
So, Amy, I just want to make sure I understand this. Amy, he's saying give all the money from the life insurance to your church, and then the church will take care of him.
Well, not him, but like I'm thinking what he's thinking. He can work, he can do whatever he needs to do, but
so just give all the money to the church just because that's what God would want? Is that what he's thinking? I don't understand.
I think he's saying that just as like, you know, like when you give your money to the church, like you get rewarded in like you understand the gospel more, and you understand like the people of God take care of the people of God. So if you love a ministry, like for example, like I looked into New Life and I saw that you guys have that option to make New Life Ministries into a beneficiary if you wanted to go ahead and make that choice. So I think I'm not sure, but what my general question is not too much about the beneficiary, like that's, but more of like what do you guys think about life insurance in general? Since I was certified in my California life, health, and accident insurance. I was, but I don't have my certification. It just expired. I just need to renew it. But I don't feel comfortable selling life insurance, so I just stopped. But it is a super, super, super good investment, what I would say. But I just need to know what you guys think as believers in general, like what you feel the Spirit of God is saying to y'all.
All right.
Yeah.
JJ?
So can I jump in here?
Sure.
Okay, so in the Old Testament, the psalmist says, some trust in horses, some in chariots, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Right? They're setting it up like, look, we're not going to trust in these other things. We're trusting in God to provide and protect and care for us. Yes? However, did the nation of Israel have horses and chariots? Yes, they did. Did they use them in battle? Yes, they did. They just didn't trust their salvation to their resources, to what they had. They trusted in God. And I think we can view life insurance and things like that in the same way. I'm not going to trust in my life insurance policy, my 401k, my checkbook, my salary. I'm not going to trust in those things to care for me and provide for me. I'm going to trust God. Does he allow me to have a salary, to have a 401k, to have a life insurance policy? Of course he does. We can have that. It doesn't make us less Christian. It doesn't make us disobedient to God. But I need to make sure that I'm examining my heart and choosing, am I trusting in this thing to care for me, provide for me, and protect me? Or am I trusting God to use these things to provide for me? And even if these things go away, God is still able, because he has cattle on 1,000 hills. He can make, manna rain down from heaven. I don't need these things. I need God. He may provide these things as his means of grace in my life.
Jill.
I love that. Yeah, we don't trust in it, but we are wise and supposed to be good stewards of our finances. So when our finances are in order, we've got enough and we have some savings. Life insurance is something that we do because we are supposed, God puts us in families. We are supposed to take care of our families. And you don't have children yet, Amy, but when you do, and heaven forbid something should happen to you or your husband, then the life insurance would help to support them. Yes, our church community can step in, but to put all of the onus on them when they're not, as close at hand and have so many needs, I think that is less wise to do. Not that they won't help, but I think we have to first make allowances for our kids. And certainly in our wills and trusts, we can will money to God's organizations and church, as long as we're, take care of our family, and then the rest can go elsewhere.
I think the part about the church coming together is, to provide those immediate needs that you might need right then and there for the next few weeks or however long it takes, whether it's making meals for the family or
Yeah.
providing childcare or funeral arrangements, things like that. But I don't know. That was just an interesting conversation. Not something we talk about every day. JJ, any final thoughts? We're about to go to end of the program here. Do we have a resource from the newlife.com store that we can send to Amy listening there in Los Angeles? By the way, the phone lines are going to remain open for the next hour, so give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. JJ West and Dr. Jill Hubbard will remain here to talk to you. So let's hear from you. 1-800-229-3000. Lots of topics we can cover. Labor Day is coming up. Maybe you've got a job situation you want to talk about. Let's do it. 1-800-229-3000. Resource? Final words? We'll talk about it after the break here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.